Today we're talking about how to get out of survival mode. Now I understand when you get stuck in survival mode, you're just spinning in one of those invisible turnstiles and you can't get out. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about how to get out of survival mode. How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thought? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods? Hey, thank you so much for joining me on this documentary series. I'm so grateful to be able to share the things that I have learned. I've been in personal development for 5 years now. I've been amazed at the things that I've learned, and I'm happy to share them with you. One of the reasons why I started doing this is because years ago my life was spiraling down and I was stuck. I felt trapped. I felt like I had no control over my life. I was angry. I was volatile all the time. And it wasn't until I got out of it that I realized how simple it was actually to get out, how I'd missed it this whole time, and how there was like scientific research and all this stuff that actually showed how to do that, but I was not aware of it. So one of my main reasons for doing this documentary series is to make that kind of understanding easily accessible to you. So if you are somebody who feels stuck, who feels trapped, who feels like you just can't get out, and you're stuck in what I call these invisible turnstiles, I know where you've been, and I want you to know that there is hope. Now, let me share another story with you. Somebody else who was stuck and trapped in a very real sense. I went to it was a personal development conference, and they had a speaker there named Elizabeth Smart. Now you may know her name, you may remember her story. It's a horrific, horrible story. When she was 13 years old, she was kidnapped at knife point in her own home with her younger sister in the same room with her. This man broke into her home, had the audacity to kidnap her and take her away, and she feared for her life. He had her captured for 9 months. Can you believe 9 months? She was raped daily. It was this horrific thing. But the interesting thing is she was in Salt Lake City, like where she had been kidnapped. I mean, he took her to California and they took her a few other places, but she was in places where there were policemen around. In fact, one time she was at a library and policemen came up and were talking to her capturer guy, and she was there kind of in disguise because they had put, some headdress stuff on her and things. Anyway, she couldn't be easily seen for who she was, and yet she didn't reach out. She didn't ask the policeman to help. She didn't run for her life. She didn't escape. And in fact, she talked in this conference that I went to, she talked about what happened when she was actually rescued and how the policemen were there and separated her from her capturer, and yet she didn't reveal who she was immediately, still because she was in survival mode. And that was the question for her. Why didn't you run? She was asked that question over and over again. Why didn't you run? Why didn't you escape? Why didn't you call for help when there were people around ready and willing to help? And the thing was that she explains is she was in survival mode. And when you get in survival mode, you can't think clearly. You can't see that the door is open right there and that you can get out. You don't see that there are people here willing to help, willing to share what they know so that you can break free. So if you were in survival mode, I totally understand that you feel stuck, you feel trapped, you feel hopeless and helpless. So let me share a few things today that hopefully will help you have hope so that you can get out of survival mode and stop living in that fear and in those invisible turnstiles where you're just always spiraling down. Okay, so a few of the principles. The first one is to get up early. You have the capability, you have the option, you have the opportunity to get yourself up out of bed. And when you do that, suddenly you're not living reactionary. You're not waiting for the alarm or for the last second to be able to get up and go about your day. But if you intentionally decide that you're going to get up early and spend time on yourself, that's a really big key here, you're going to find that you have much more confidence. You're able to think clearly because now suddenly you're taking care of yourself and these things are in your control. The beautiful part about the morning is it is yours. Nobody's really expecting you to be in certain places as much as they are later in the day, but you have time when you get up earlier than you need to, earlier than expected, that you can actually do these things. So now the next thing is that you want to do a morning routine when you get up early. You want to do a few things that are going to help you really get centered with thinking clear and just really get moving on what your intentions are. So the first thing is with your morning routine, don't introduce distractions. Now they say that 80% of people when they first wake up, within 15 minutes they will reach for their smartphone. And they'll start checking Instagram and Facebook and their email, and they'll start immediately reacting to whatever happened during the night that they might have missed. And suddenly they are starting off their day almost reeling backwards because they aren't living intentionally. They are living reactionary according to all these things that have happened. So you want to make sure that you remove some of these distractions. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to identify my core values. I have 5 core values. For me, it's God, family, personal development, contribution, and fun. And so, with those 5 values, I like to pick each day 3 values that I'm going to put top priority. And I find an activity that I'm going to do. What can I do today to prove that they are top priority? And as I start to do these things, as I start to make plans and make progress, I do feel more accomplished. I do feel like I am making progress in the course of life that I'd like. And Harvard did this great study, and you can Google it, look it up. It's called the Harvard Progress Principle. But they found that the people that were happiest, that were healthiest, that were most successful were people who made regular, I think they call it consistent progress in meaningful work. The cool thing is you get to decide what is meaningful to you. And so if you are getting up and if you're doing these things, you're identifying your core values, you're making progress here, you're living with intention. If you start each day with an intention, how would you like to feel today? It's like a micro goal, but it's a micro goal with the end result emotion that you would like to have in your life. Anyway, these are some wonderful ways for you to start to get out of survival mode. Another thing that you can do is you can record your wins. You can take time each day to talk about some of the things that you have accomplished in the last day, or that you're going to accomplish today, or that you maybe already have in the morning. As you start to record these, you're starting to feel more powerful. You are being less of a victim. You're not a victim of your schedule. You're not a victim of your work. You're not a victim of, expectations around you. You are setting these. You are living intentionally, living deliberately, and you are becoming more of who you can truly be. So anyway, these are some ideas. Hopefully they help you get out of survival mode. I hope you don't live there long if you are in that space right now. I hope you remember who you are and that you have the capability to be much, much more. What can you add? Now, are you ready to join the conversation? Are you willing to add your voice, your thoughts, your ideas, your impressions? If so, add them in the comment section below. We need your voice. Now, if you have been inspired to take action, don't let an impression slip by. Train yourself to listen to and follow your inner voice. Of course, the best place to take action is at scottwilhite.com, because if you join me for a free web class, you will receive a copy of my Purpose Planner, the tool you've been missing that will help you uncover your purpose. What if you are a God in the making? That would mean there's purpose to your life, meaning to your challenges. You have a great work to do. May you have the courage, faith, and power to become who you were truly meant to be. See you next time.